We've been pretty lucky so far this April with comparatively quiet weather compared to, active years where we're having tornado outbreaks every other day. But we are going to be getting more active in the thunderstorm department from today onward. Let's talk about it in today's edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. And good morning. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Buddy-in-Chief David Reimer. It is Tuesday, the 18th of April, 2023. We are going to start dealing with increased chances for showers and thunderstorms beginning today and only ramping up as we get into Thursday, Friday, and even parts of Saturday. It's April, so some of those storms are probably going to be rowdy, but we're not necessarily talking about a big-time severe weather outbreak in the state of Texas. But let's go ahead and dive into our weather forecast for today. We're going to start off in the fire weather department. Today, the fire danger rating is going to be high across portions of North Texas and Texoma, all the way into the Big Country, the Panhandle, and with the highest ratings, ironically, around the Guadalupe Mountains and far west Texas, especially in the higher elevations, and into the borderland of far west Texas around El Paso. Pretty much any grass fires that get started are probably going to be a bit difficult to deal with today, just given the fact we're going to have some stronger winds. Still pretty dry out there, so the humidities are going to be a bit low. So we head into tomorrow, you can definitely tell we're going to have a higher threat for wildfires across far west Texas, the Borderland, Davis, Guadalupe Mountains, the Trans-Pecos, all the way up into the Permian Basin, all of West Texas, the South Plains, the Rolling Plains, up into the Caprock, all of the Texas Panhandle, with the threat a little lower to the east. And then on Thursday, pretty much same story, except we have a little bit of an extreme risk around the Guadalupe Mountains and far west Texas, and the threat for wildfires continues across the Panhandle, West Texas, Permian Basin, down into Big Bend National Park in southwest Texas. All right, let's take a look at the Highrise Rapid Refresh model for today, tonight, and to tomorrow. With a couple notes, we are having a couple of scattered showers and maybe a few storms this morning across the southeastern third of Texas. Those are generally going to move off the coast by this afternoon. Can't rule out a few pop-ups this afternoon in southeast Texas. Not expecting a big-time severe weather threat. There is the chance we may see one or two severe storms fire off the dry line late this afternoon, early this evening, 5 to 10 p.m. We'll go over that risk area here in a bit. If those storms were to form, which at this point it's only, we're probably not going to be dealing with more than one storm if we have any at all today. You can see how that model tries to show that we're going to end up dealing with hail, localized damaging winds. Tomorrow, comparatively higher chance we could see a couple of severe storms east of the dry line. Again, we'll go over the risk map in a minute. And those storms, generally 4 p.m. to 11 p.m., could also have large hail, damaging wind gusts, maybe a tornado. But as you can see, this model here doesn't show any of that. That being said, this is just one of several weather models, and frankly, it hasn't been doing the best over the last couple of days. All right, let's take a look at these severe weather outlooks. This is going to be for today. You can see we do have a level 1 out of 5 risk, eastern Texas Panhandle, northwest Texas off the Caprock into pretty much down to I-20 between Sweetwater over to Abilene. And again, these risk levels are based on the number or coverage of severe storms, not necessarily their intensity. If we had a storm go up today, it's going to be dropping some big-time hail. But again, we're probably only going to have one or two storms, if any at all, today. That's due to lack of moisture after that cool front this past weekend. We're still trying to get some moisture back in from the Gulf of Mexico. And we're going to have a pretty good lid or capping inversion on the atmosphere that's going to do its best to prevent thunderstorms from developing. As we head into tomorrow, a bit of a higher chance, honestly, that we could see maybe 1, 2, 3 severe storms during the late afternoon, early evening hours. Edwards Plateau, Concho Valley, Western Hill Country, up into the eastern Big Country, western North Texas, northwest Texas, and then it goes up all the way into Kansas. And again, generally looking at 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. tomorrow if we were to have any storms fire up. Not expecting many storms, so a vast majority of folks aren't going to see a thing. Those who do end up under any storms that develop tomorrow afternoon are probably going to find out just what happens when you get big-time springtime storms in Texas in the hail department. Again, big-time hail possible, localized damaging winds, and perhaps a tornado. but that's all dependent on storms firing up in the first place. Now, as we head into Thursday, we're going to have a cool front, a pretty strong one for April, in fact, push south into Texas. That's going to help increase the chances for thunderstorms. And as we get into Thursday afternoon into Thursday evening, we're probably going to have a cluster of storms across portions of northeast Texas, east Texas, back west into the Brazos Valley hill country. And some of those storms are probably going to be severe. We could have hail quarter up to golf ball size, maybe a little bit bigger if we get some supercellular storm structures. That's still to be determined. Localized damaging wind gusts. This is probably going to be our highest issue on Thursday with these storms, stronger ones especially. Could have some wind gusts 60, 70 miles an hour. Maybe a brief tornado. Tornado threat does not look overly impressive on Thursday, meaning if we were to have any sort of a spin-up tornado issue, it would likely be related to very localized interactions, storm interactions, any residual outflow boundaries from previous days' storms, something that would be very localized in a region versus a larger scale regional event in terms of the setup for tornadoes. And then as we head into Friday, that risk for severe storms is going to sag south into southeast Texas, the Golden Triangle, the coastal plains, and still plenty of southeast Texas and the Brazos Valley as the cool front makes slow progress to the south. In terms of what models are showing, I think the global forecast system does a pretty good job of depicting what we are probably going to see on Thursday and Friday. Keep in mind, this is all going to be dependent on where this cold front ends up by Thursday into Friday. It may be a little further south than what models show, which would push some of this further south. But you can see we have a cluster of storms by late Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening near that cool front, central Texas, north Texas, northeast Texas. That generally pushes south. Thursday night, we get a bit of a lull Thursday morning. Do it all again Friday afternoon into Friday evening, except the front will be further south. So pretty much all the way from the Rio Grande Valley, the Rio Grande Plains, deep south Texas, up the coast, the middle Texas coast, all the way through southeast Texas, the Golden Triangle, middle and upper Texas coasts. Again, severe weather possible Thursday and Friday with some of these storms, localized damaging wind gust, some hail, very heavy rainfall. These are going to be pretty efficient rainfall producers. In terms of forecast rain totals over the next several days, but especially Thursday, Friday, into Saturday, looks like we could see between 1 to 3 inches of rain across portions of northeast Texas, east Texas, with multiple rounds of thunderstorms over the next few days. And again, there might be a little bit of flash flooding out of this, and we're just going to have to see if there's a flash flooding threat, where these storms keep training or developing and moving over the same areas. I don't think one storm is necessarily going to cause flash flooding, but we'd have to see multiple rounds of storms move over locations over the 1 to 2 day period. So again, hey, you know what? We need the rain. We definitely need more rain, especially further west, but you know what? I don't make the weather. I just try to depict what Mama Nature might try to do. In terms of temperatures over the next several days, we're generally going to be warm 70s, 80s, 90s up until the cold front hits Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, when we're going to see temperatures north of that front. Daytime high temperatures are going to be about 10 to 15 degrees below what we typically see in late April. And overnight low temperatures are actually going to get pretty chilly for some folks. Looks like we may have a late season freeze across portions of the Panhandle of West Texas. Maybe a bit of a frost all the way down into Texoma, northwest Texas, and maybe some sheltered locations in the big country in western North Texas by Saturday morning. We'll just have to wait and see. But again, with a dry air mass behind that cold front, we're going to see some pretty good temperature swings, diurnal temperature swings. Simplistic terms, because I'm tired and can't explain things well, we're going to heat up quickly during the day, but because the air mass is so dry, we're going to cool off pretty quick at night. So that's how you can, go from, say, 35, 40 degrees up to 80 degrees in the span of a day. All right, we'll be keeping an eye on things here. We're going to have chasers out and about over the next several days, so make sure you're subscribed to us on YouTube. That's where we're going to be streaming a live storm chasing video. And as always, you can get the latest weather information for your neighborhood or across the country with our free interactive weather radar and our free mobile app. Just search for Texas Storm Chasers in the Google Play Apple App Store. Next Texas Weather Roundup will be out by 7 a.m. Wednesday, sooner if needed. Y'all have a good Tuesday, and God bless.